Oh, I hate snow. Oh, look at that. Bloody kids. Get all this stuff these days. Back in my day, I was lucky if I could pull the brakes on with all 10 fingers. Honestly, entitled toddlers. They're ruining the planet with their pneumatic tyres and their helmets that actually fit them. Piss my pants. Charisma, knowledge, words. Dedicated balance bikes have created the perfect, easy access stepping stone into riding pedal-powered bicycles for young kids. For those of you that can ride a bike now, you might not remember, but there's a really big skill barrier to overcome when learning to ride. Oh, hello! You need to balance, you need to pedal, you need to select the right gear, you need to control your direction, and you need to be able to slow down and stop. It's a lot of things to throw at a toddler that's just learned how to walk. And if you start them too early, they can be put off trying for years. Balance bikes remove some of these challenges and they allow the kids to learn the hardest part of riding bikes in relative safety. The clue's in the name. Say it with me now. Hux. Balance. It's balance. Balance. When's the right time to get them on a balance bike? Honestly, you can start as soon as they are confident on their feet. I know I did with Jack as we got him one for his first birthday, which is about when he started walking. He hated it. It was too unstable and he kept falling over, so he didn't touch it for 8 months. My daughter Evie's the same, and that's fine. You don't need to rush it. If your kid seems really sure-footed and they can do that little toddler run confidently and push themselves around in a four-wheel toy like a car, then they'll probably be ready. Let's talk about equipment. If you've already followed on from the previous episodes about bike seats and trailers, you should already have a helmet. But if safety is a big concern for you and your kid is big and strong enough, you can also look at getting full face helmets for the inevitable faceplant in their future. I personally use a IXS Trigger full face, and Jack loves to borrow my IXS Prototype downhill helmet, but it really doesn't fit him very well. You can wrap them up in lots of thick clothing to protect the knees and elbows if that's what your budget dictates, but some basic elbow and knee pads will allow them to test the limits with slightly less consequences. I use some IXS Flow light elbow and knee protection for my general riding, and here's a sneaky trick that works quite well. See if your elbow pads fit on your kid's knees. You can put them on top of their clothes if you need to. Cool little hack, but a set of proper ones that are sized for kids, like some generic sports pads, are great for kids that are just starting out. Finally, the bike. The most important thing is to get a size where they can actually get their feet on the ground. Measure. Okay.
That bike is too big for it.
There's plenty of size charts on the brand sites to help with this that are based around their inside leg measurement. I recommend getting the biggest frame size and wheel size that still allows them to comfortably get the feet on the ground with a slight leg bend. Usually you want a bike that has a minimum saddle height at least 20 mil less than their inseam. This means they fit the bike and there's room to raise the seat as they grow. And boy, will they grow fast. If you're on a budget, secondhand is a great way to go as kids size up out of equipment so fast, so you'll always find some for sale. Now, getting them on the bike is exciting, but trying to teach your kid anything can be quite stressful too. And then use both feet to stop. Stop. Jackie, hey, come here. Every kid learns at their own rate. Some will pick things up faster than others, and some kids honestly just never quite click with balance bikes. The next episode will deal with that situation, so check that out if your kid hates their balance bike. The important thing is that you don't force the issue and make it a negative experience for your kid. Patience, short practice sessions, fun learning breaks, and lots of positive reinforcement is key. Good job. Good job. So good. Let's get them on the bike. Step 1. How do they get on? It seems super obvious, but it's actually quite a big maneuver for the little ones. I've been teaching my kids to have both hands on the bars and swing the leg over, and do the same to get off. It can be super hard for them to wrap their head around complicated movements they've not done before, so you can just grab them, move them through the motions so they get a real feel for it. Once they're on the bike, stay near them and encourage them to sit down and scoot. As soon as they start trying to move and lift feet off the ground, the bike will want to fall over under the weight on the seat. It is an unstable vehicle after all. Try to help them understand how to use their arms to keep the bike upright. They won't get it right away, but if they fall, use the old faithful trick of celebrating their big crashes so they don't get too concerned.
That was a huge one!
Woo! You can lean the bike a little to the side and ask them to pull it back upright. Praise them when they get it right and reward them with something fun. Push them around on the bike. Get them to hold their feet up or tuck them up on the frame and glide around. Nothing like getting a taste for the end goal than actually doing it. You can hold on to their saddle and bars or back and bars and steer them around. And prepare for a savage back workout. I discovered muscles in my lower back I didn't know existed. And Evie's also partial to the super special flying bike trick. Unfortunately, the batteries run out on that one pretty quick. Sorry. Unfortunately, Daddy's run out of fuel. Right, let's get them moving under their own power. You can let them have at it on their own, and often they'll want to do it on their own. If they are older and quite sure-footed, they can sometimes figure it out really quickly without too much assistance. If they're struggling or fold themselves up like a deck chair, dust them off and just give them a bit of reassurance and help them out.
Slower this time so you don't have a big crash.
Little bits of practice often is way better than trying to push them into long practice sessions where they get just totally off it.
Jackie.
As they start to get a feel for it and start moving under their own steam with confidence, one thing to watch out for is that they keep their bum on the seat. They can get a little bit excited and try to go too fast and just sort of run above the bike, dragging it with them. This can easily cause a crash and get them to park that bum firmly on that seat. Stopping is something that will come pretty naturally, as they'll quickly figure out that planting their feet on the ground will stop themselves really quick.
And stop! Stop! Nice!
But if they're lucky enough to have brakes, it's good to get them familiar with how they work before they start to glide. Safest way to get a feel for it is to have them push the bike along and gently pull on the brake to see how it affects the bike. Get them to lock up the brake and do a big skid. Then brake smooth, then skid. Have some fun with it. Then get them on the bike and drill in this process.
Nice.
Get up to speed, brake, and then feet down flat on the ground as they stop. Up to speed, brake, feet down on the ground as they stop. Make up games where you are the pit stop and they have to come in fast, brake and stop, and you pretend to fill up their fuel tank or just whatever, any kind of game. Watch they don't plant their feet too early and brake with their feet. This habit can get them into trouble when going down hills in the future, as the brakes don't work when there's no weight on the seat. Now it's time to glide. The goal is to get them to build up speed and then coast with their feet lifted up off the ground. If they ride enough, they might start doing this without really thinking about it, but you can give them a little nudge in the right direction too. Encourage your kid to try lifting both feet up and see how far they can go without touching the ground. They'll start with small, little lifts, but once they start getting a feel for it, you can send them down small slopes and mellow hills. And what a feeling once they start flowing along like a proper bike. You have permission to give them a fist bump when they do their first big glide. They've earned it. Once they get the hang of that, you can progress onto longer slopes, start to encourage them to put their feet up on the platforms if the bike has them. This will get them used to having the feeling of feet being attached to the bike rather than swinging around and helping with balance. It's quite scary doing this at first. It's like doing a really slippy corner without sticking your leg out. Give them space and time to commit to it. Finally, add in the smooth braking and feet down you practiced before, and your kid is now fully mobile and in control of their own two-wheeled vehicle. Good job! Get out there and have fun with it. Make silly courses, race them on your bike, go on little adventures on mellow paths as they improve and build confidence and control. And you can even take them off-road on some chill trails. The fun and adventures you can have on balance bikes are so good, you'll actually struggle to get them on a normal bike.
Jackie, do you want to ride your green bike?
No.
No? Which bike do you want to ride?
The balance bike.
Fine, okay.
That is step 3 complete. Final episode for the season is coming next, and I am going to attempt to teach my son how to pedal a real bicycle. Links to all the How to Bike episodes should be in the description below once they are all live. Give this video a like if you're planning on how to get your kids into biking, and if you have any tips that have worked with your kids, let everyone know down in the comments. And do come back soon so you can see if I can actually practice what I preach and teach Jack how to do the biking business.
Was that cool?
Yay!
Should I do it again? Should I do it again?